Time to run some shine. Out there with our brothers, speed is the drug. Better pick the pace up, 'cause racing's in my blood. No worries of tomorrow. So now we're gonna light 'em up. I said light 'em up. Light 'em up. Light 'em up. Oh, I said light 'em up. Fire up them engines under the hood. Got that just drop the green, chasing checkers in the mean machine. And tonight we're gonna light 'em up. I said light 'em up. Light 'em up. Oh, I said light 'em up. Winocle grip in the neon light, trading pain in the heart of the fight. Shifting gears till the edge feels right. Start 'em up, hear the engines cry. Let the thunder roll, leave no doubt. All or nothing when the checkers come out. Doors beating doors in an all-out fight. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Wednesday night! Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Every track has a story to tell. Every wall has been one driver's hell. Back in the saddle we go. Ring the bell like a moonshiner. We're riding on rails. Checkers on records. Send it in, set sail. Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. This is 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 a Moonshiners Wednesday night.
Tonight, the most historic track in the United States plays host to stock car racing. Welcome to Moonshiners Racing League, live here on Precision Entertainment Solutions with the GMD Janitorial Cup Series. My name is Adam Thompson, and here we have the GMD Janitorial 250 around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm Adam Thompson, of course, and in the broadcast booth, Zach Case, and our producer tonight, Justin Prince and Cody Banta on pit road. And tonight we go 100 laps around this famed speedway, and Whiplash SimCam providing us some great cameras here tonight. The Yard of Bricks, the most fabled home as we go countdown to green here at Indianapolis. And Zach, we have quite the race tonight, but next week we are off. Then we head to Iowa on August 12th as we get closer and closer to the chase.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Obviously, going into the off week, a lot of opportunities to get some points. We have that in-season challenge we're talking about all night long, and that's going to be the story point here tonight between Brandon Bowie and Paul Gallimore there. But obviously, just looking at the schedule, right? Going into the later portion of the summer, we're getting closer and closer to that chase format, and you see just 4 more races before that season finale at Daytona before we head into the final section of the race.
And things really heating up at the cut line. Nigel Christensen only 10 points off Mark Sanchez, so that will be a battle to watch out for tonight. And of course, Brandon Bowie continuing to increase his lead. He is up by 568 points across the field. Alex Coppy sitting in second, Alex Murray in third. And of course, it is not all said and done quite yet. You still have guys like Chris Vincent, Johnny Shade, William Owens, who can all still get in to the chase as we head towards the final stretch.
Yeah, Adam, you talk about the cut line. Obviously, 16 drivers trying to punch their ticket into the chase here for the GMD Janitorial Cup Series. And the biggest thing for Nigel Christensen is trying to get those 10 points here tonight and get that gap even closer up to Mark Sanchez. Chris Vincent still on the outside looking in, and a couple drivers on the inside. Greg Carr having some good races as of late here in the summer months. Kenny Reel also doing a great job, but I think the biggest thing is just continuing to rack up those points and stay above the cut line if you're in that top 16.
And of course, tonight is the final race of the Icon Apparel In-Season Challenge. The number 1 seed, Brandon Bowie, and Paul Gallimore, the number 10 seed, face off for the championship here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That could be very interesting and probably be our top storyline of the night.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, with Paul Gallimore trying to be the underdog, right, against Brandon Bowie, 7 wins so far this season for the 35 machine. And the biggest factor here is obviously you want to win the in-season challenge. You want to get the momentum up going into the chase. But there's also some cool Icon apparel getting handed out to the winner of the challenge. So we'll see that later on, and we'll see who takes the trophy here for the in-season challenge.
Well, let's talk about the racetrack tonight. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 2.5 miles in length, turns at 9.2 degrees banking, then the straight's completely flat. This opened up in August 14th of 1909, 116 years ago, in the home of IndyCar racing. And fun fact about this racetrack, it was the host of the Formula One U.S. Grand Prix from 2000 to 2007.
Yeah, obviously a really cool racetrack on all aspects of motorsports. You have the in-course, road course as well, in the infield, and also we have the oval that we'll be here tonight on. So 4 corners, they're all a little unique, and obviously drivers are going to have to manage this track along with everyone else on the racetrack.
Well, we are in for quite a show tonight with the Moonshiners Racing League here. And everybody getting prepared for what is going to be a 100-lap race. And now we'll go to the Victory Designs Pole Award here tonight. And, of course, it is going to be our number 1 seed in the in-season challenge of Brandon Bowie. And Nico Garcia will start outside pole. Row number 2, Paul Gallimore and Alex Coppy make up 3rd and 4th. Row number 3, Alex Murray and Mark Sanchez in the number 29. Timothy Harper and Ryan Catalano will make up row number 4. And then rounding out the top 10, it's going to be Chris Vincent in the number 33 and our winner last week at North Wilkesboro, Sean Rogers.
Yeah, just missing out on the top 10. Brandon Fetter plays in the 34 machine in 11th. On the outside, Corey Moore in the 19 for 12th. In the next row, William Owens in the 30 machine. On the outside, his one of his Precision teammates, Nigel Christensen in the 20. In P15, it's Blake Hochschild. On the outside, Kenny Reel in that 99 for P16. A little deeper inside the top 20, Blaine Wilson in the 18 pay RVA entry. To the outside, Johnny Shade in the 45. Rounding out your top 20, Matt Cox on the inside, and on the outside, Shane Davis making his return to the Cup Series.
Outside of the top 20 tonight, Chris Davis and Greg Carr make up row number 11. Row 12, Nick King and Kyle Holden. Row number 13, Jim Treat and Barry Sanders. He's far back in the pack tonight, so keep an eye on him. Wayne Bowman and Matt Mettler in row number 14. Our final starter, Matt Mackin, will be in the number 1 machine starting 29th. Well, the grid all fielded up here, Zach, and tonight, obviously the in-season challenge storyline, but distance 100 laps. Stages are 25 laps, so stage 1, stage 2, both 25 laps, and our third and final stage is going to be 50 laps here tonight here at the GMD Janitorial 250.
Yeah, the biggest thing, obviously, in MRL competition, no fast repairs, Adam, so everyone's going to have to take care of their cars. And we saw in practice some drivers losing it in the dirty air, and I think that's going to play a factor here tonight. But that is your precision race analysis here on Precision Entertainment. And I think the biggest thing, Adam, is we got 100 laps, right? You got to play calm, cool, and collective, but stage points up for grab here in stage 1.
Well, and obviously a very big strategy race. Got to call the right strategy around the stages. We'll probably see some drivers try and flip the stages a little bit to try and gain whatever track position they can find here. And this is one of the racetracks. It's very, very hard to pass. So that strategy is what a lot of drivers are going to fall back on. And we'll send it down to Cody Banta here. And Cody, what can you tell us about tonight?
Yeah, I just spoke with the teams, and just something to notice was the fall off that some of the teams were reporting within the 5 lap stints that they were able to get off in practice. And just speaking about track position, we may see some of these drivers flip it, but there's 25 laps, so anything goes.
Well, the field is bunched up and ready to go here. Thank you very much, Cody. We will talk to you later on in our broadcast. And we are geared up and ready to go racing 100 laps around the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, Brandon Bowie on the pole. He is going to be the guy to watch out for tonight as he looks to continue his points dominant lead. And then, of course, winning the in-season challenge brought to you by Icon Apparel Co. And but watch out for Paul Gallimore. He sits third right now. He'll be right behind Brandon Bowie. Pace car should drop off here this time. It will. And we are going to go racing here with the Van Lewis stickers restart zone. Green flag will fly and away we go here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the bottom side of the racetrack. Brandon Bowie, Paul Gallimore, and the 22 of Alex Murray getting a good push down the front straightaway. Now into turn 1, still side by side throughout the pack. Except you have Brandon Bowie all by himself, side by side for second as Nico Garcia, Paul Gallimore battling for position here as we go down the back straightaway.
Everyone going to make it through turns 1 and 2 cleanly. The biggest thing right now, you see Gallimore trying to work to the inside, side-by-side racing inside the top 10, almost 3 wide there going into turn number 3. Garcia going to get in front of Murray there, who snuck it on the bottom around Gallimore. Hard contact though, Murray gets involved with Garcia. He's going to lock it up a little bit, but Garcia went in a little too hot and got the wall on the outside of the short chute.
What a save there by Alex Murray and went down the escape road, but he will lose a bonus spot here and he is going to have a long recovery drive here to get back out in front as we see Alex Coffey sniffing the back bumper of Nico Garcia going on board here with the number 54. As you can tell, wrapping the bottom side of the racetrack. That's exactly where you want to put your car as Brandon Bowie continuing to drive away here on lap number 2.
We saw one driver from Team Big try to get around that aero machine. Nico Garcia, now Alex Coffey going to be the next big entry to try to make his way inside the top 2. Brandon Bowie checking out though, Garcia leading the way for the rest of the pack. But Coffey just following through that dirty air, and that's one thing that everyone's going to have to watch on the racetrack is maintaining your car, maintaining the tires, and staying out of that dirty air, even though it's so hard here at Indianapolis.
Well, things starting to single file out, but further back still side by side with Corey Moore there on the inside, the number 19 machine there, battling with Mark Sanchez side by side as they fall into turn number 1. You can see Corey Moore, he'll slide up the racetrack and go down what is now the back straightaway. And things starting to kind of single file themselves out here, Zach, and that's kind of a good sign for some of these drivers, but maybe a bad sign for guys like Alex Murray, who is now clear back in the pack.
Yeah, unfortunately for Murray, he's going to have to do the recovery drive. He's got plenty of time to do it, but Corey Moore making that nice move around Sanchez there to find his way inside the top 10. You see the rest of the field making their way back on the front stretch. 3 laps complete here at 100, 25 laps the distance here for stage number 1.
Lap number 4 of the 100 scheduled here. Brandon Bowie out to a 0.7 of a second lead with Nico Garcia sitting in second. Nico Garcia looking for a good run here this week after what has been a disastrous 2 weeks here at Moonshiners Racing League. And hopefully tonight he is just praying that he can just keep the car in one piece, but he's going to have to battle Alex Coffey as he is right there close to the back bumper. And what makes this race so unique is there is sort of a draft, but it's going to be very, very difficult to drive up to somebody's back bumper and try and make a move. So here we go. We're about to start lap number 5 here as Nico Garcia getting a little bit of breathing space from Alex Coffey. And of course, this first stage, 25 laps, sponsored by Collegiate Football Simulation League, the top collegiate simulation league. Create your legacy by visiting collegesimleague.com today.
You touched on it, Adam. The biggest thing is having the draft down the front and the back stretch, but when you get into the corners, you want to get out of this dirty air. But the problem here at Indy is it's really a 1 to 2 lane racetrack, so you're going to see here off the back bumper of Fetter Place, you see Rogers trying to get a little lower than him in turn 3 and 4. We'll see him dive back in there once again. He ducks that left side of his car a little deeper though around the back bumper of Fetter Place, and he gets a little more cleaner air on that grill and allows him to get sucked up here down the front stretch.
Well, you got to wonder about tire usage. The wider entry you take, well, you're probably going to scrub a lot more of the tires off, and so that is going to be a concern for some of these teams here. Even though 25 laps around this 2.5 mile speedway doesn't seem like it's going to take very long, but a lot of that can be coming down to just the tires are going to wear just a little bit faster here as we now have our Van Lilly Stickers driver camera up as we are on board here with Sean Rogers, our winner last week at North Wilkesboro. You can see he is locked in, and he is actually keeping nice, calm, cool, collected pace and just sticking with Fetter Place here. And so he's going to have to just do this all race long and hope to God he can find some positions throughout the pit stops later on here tonight.
Yeah, obviously the biggest factor being that air and how these cars get sucked up and pushed back into dirty air. And unfortunately at this racetrack, it's really just buying your time and staying in the draft down the front stretch and back stretch and just trying to get ever so closer to the car in front. And that's going to be the biggest point here tonight is, can you maintain the track position? That's what every driver's talking about, maintaining the spot on the racetrack, right? You want stage points. You want to stay inside the top 10. Battle for P2 though. Here comes Alex Coffey on the inside over Garcia.
Alex Coffey sliding up the racetrack will take away the second position away from Nico Garcia. And did I see a little bit of a love tap on the wall? I did, but doesn't appear to have affected anybody there. And Nico Garcia loses a spot there. And actually, that's the first spot he has lost here tonight. So he's got a little bit of work to do, as well as Paul Gallimore. He has lost a spot as well, as he's trying to battle with Brandon Bowie in the Icon Apparel Co. in-season challenge. But you can see Gallimore, he is right there, Zach, and he is just going to be waiting for a mistake here.
I was just about to say, I think Gallimore is in a great position, right? You're only 3 spots back from Brandon Bowie, right? You're still close to him. You're within striking distance if anything happens. So if I'm Paul Gallimore, I'm really happy with the start of this race, right? Remember, outside of the in-season challenge, Gallimore is also looking for stage points, right? You're just continuing to build up that gap. So if he can continue to run here in P4 and stay inside the top 5, I think he's going to have a good shot at this later on in this race.
Well, it's going to be very interesting how this all shapes out as we are on lap number 9 here as we continue to watch the front of the pack here. The biggest mover so far, Brandon Fetterplace, up 4 spots here so far. And you can see with Fetterplace right now, he is in that 34 machine, and he's got a couple cars in front of him. He's got the 33 of Chris Vincent. And so keep an eye out and see if he can gain some more spots. And Zach, we're so used to seeing double-digit most positions gains. But here in Indianapolis, it is just that much harder to make any sort of passes work out, except maybe on restarts and in the pits. So don't be alarmed when we say most positions gained is +4.
I think that just puts an emphasis right now on qualifying, right? We talk about it every week, right? They go out, they qualify, we get the starting grid, but it's a bigger event here qualifying for this race at Indy, just because of the factor that you can't get sucked up to these cars in front, and you can't get around them too because of how the car is with the track and the aero. So the biggest thing is continuing to maintain that track position. You see deeper in the field here, Kenny Reel working in 13th. In that 99 machine, that Toyota Camry. Looking pretty good just in front of Nigel Christensen, but if you're inside the top 15 right now, I'm pretty happy with stage 1 if I'm your crew chief.
Well, we've been talking a lot about the race. Well, what is one of the major factors of this race? Well, it's the weather here, and it is 80 degrees Fahrenheit with a track temp of 107 degrees Fahrenheit, and according to our pit reporter, Cody Banta, he said track temp is already down 4 degrees. So it was quite hot at the start of this one, and it's cooling down just a little bit as we're seeing it kind of jump back and forth between 106 and 107, Zach.
Yeah, Cody, the weatherman Banta, doing a great job down on pit road. We'll hear from him later on, but track conditions obviously playing a big factor into any racing series, especially with these next gens though. And even at Indy, with just how the track is laid out, how the cars handle the dirty air, it's going to be a big factor. You see Alex Murray working his way up through the field now. Obviously back in P20, so he's cracked the top 20 now after falling all the way back to 29th early on lap 1 with that contact with Nico Garcia. But if I'm Alex Murray, I'm happy the car is still put together. I'm settled back in. I'm just going to try to drive that 22 machine back up to the front.
And he's got a lot of work to do, though, so he's going to be hoping for some good pit stops here tonight as these cars reaching around 193 miles per hour down the front straightaway. And that's before they lift off the gas, and then they lift off and go right through the corners here. You can see right now the gap's kind of being stagnant a little bit. Alex Coffey currently driving away from Nico Garcia and Gallimore. So those guys are kind of a little bit out of it, but he reports now we got a battle for P3 with Paul Gallimore trying to get down the inside of Nico Garcia. Nico Garcia, though, this man is hard to get around no matter what racetrack we are at. You're going to have to move him out of the way if you want to make the move. We go down the front straightaway to start lap number 13, excuse me. And Nico Garcia doing a great job defending the low line away from Paul Gallimore. Gallimore, he's smelling the exhaust fumes off that number 8 machine. And Nico Garcia, again, he's had a couple of rough weeks here at Moonshiners Racing League. And what this is helping these guys push up the track a little bit and try and get closer to Alex Coffey, who has closed the gap down to 0.7 of a second to Brandon Bowie. And for Paul Gallimore, this means so much more because he's battling for the in-season challenge against Brandon Bowie. That's going to be the storyline we follow tonight, Zach. And for Paul Gallimore, he's going to have to do everything possible to get by the 35.
I think the biggest thing is, if you're Paul Gallimore, you saw last time by, he was so close to Garcia going into turn 3, didn't get the run he wanted because of that dirty air, and now he's maybe a car length, 2 car lengths back from the 8 machine, and now you're going to have to work around 3 or 4 more times to just get back in that position because of the aero coming off the rear end of your boy Nico Garcia. So that's going to be the storyline we're watching on track with the cars and the distances between them just deeper in the field there. Timothy Harper doing a great job in the 23 machine for Dig Esports. Moved himself up there. Oh, hard contact though into the outside wall on corner exit.
That was a huge puff of smoke coming off of the wall here, and that's going to affect the 23 of Timothy Harper. And he's going to have to really try hard to hold on to it here as he is being hounded by Chris Vincent in the 33. This is the battle for 5th. Vincent had a look at the inside. Good move there by Tim Harper as he defends the spot. And you can see everybody getting a little bit loosey-goosey as we go into the corners. You've got to wonder, are these tires actually having a more difficult time early in the run? We saw the track temperature about 107 degrees Fahrenheit. So this track very, very warm. That's only going to promote more tire wear as we go through this race. And you can see Vincent doing a much better job wrapping the bottom of the racetrack. Now they're side by side here. And Chris Vincent has a nose just out in front, kind of getting into Harper a little bit. Now they go down the front straightaway, and Harper still cannot make the move, but he's geared up very nicely as he gets a push from behind with better place right there, and they go into turn number 1. And finally, Chris Vincent able to clear the 23 in better place as well. He is trying to make the move. Tim Harper having a very difficult time here because he's not going to lose not 1, not 2, but possibly 3 spots as we go down the back straightaway.
Yeah, well, you saw on the front stretch there, Adam, you saw all 2 drivers get behind the 33 machine and trying to push him with the arrow farther in front of that 23. So they know that he might have a little bit of damage that he's battling with after hitting the outside wall there on corner exit. Another driver, Corey Moore, just a little farther back on the road, hits the outside wall. So that's one of the storylines too. It's on corner exit coming out of turn 1 and 3. Are you hitting that wall on the short chute?
Well, Harper finally finding a good run on the high side and defends off Sean Rogers, our winner from last week, and can try and get back into a rhythm here. And we'll have our first stage in here in just a couple laps time. Rogers leaning into Harper that time off of turn number 2 as we go down the back straightaway once again. And you can just see Harper, he's doing everything he can to try and hold on to this spot, but it's not going to be enough. You can see Rogers, he's got a half a car length out in front of Harper and finally will clear of him. Cody Banta, what can you tell us?
Yeah, both the 23 and the 22 are having their share of aero damage, it looks like, especially for that 22 car. It looks like that right front is just a little bit pushed in, and the dirty air is certainly playing effect for both of these guys. Back over to the precision booth.
Thank you very much, Cody Banta. You can see it on your screen there that Alex Murray having a heck of a time here, just getting control of the race car, especially when you're behind other cars. The dirty air doing no favors to the 22 machine right now, especially with that front end damage. And he keeps getting real close to that wall. It's like that car is just a magnet for disaster here, Zach.
I think the biggest thing is Cody Banta, the weatherman, brought it up down on pit road. He's got that right front crinkled in a little bit on that 22 machine. And that's obviously playing a factor trying to get back through the field. He's going to get all over the back bumper there of the 87. But for Murray, it's just keeping the car in one piece right now and maintaining your race speed, staying on the lead lap, but also when you're going to come down pit road, you want to get that damage fixed. So you only have to go a couple more laps to maintain that lead race. So just make sure you don't add any more damage here and make it even worse for yourself.
Oh, and he slams the wall once again off of turn number 3 as we head into turn 4 now. Get ready, excuse me, that was turn 1 and 2 there. I got my turns all mixed up there. So we are on lap number 19 of the 100 schedule. Stage 1 about to come to an end here. And we've seen a little bit of carnage here. Much better than last week, though, at North Wilkesboro, where it seemed like we couldn't quite get things rolling at the beginning of the race. Here is now, looks like somebody trying to make a move there of the number 18 machine. Blaine Wilson, he looked down the inside, decided to get back in line fairly quick. And he is battling with Shane Davis and the 45 of Johnny Shade. You can see single file throughout the field here, Zach, so it's going to get even tougher as we head towards the end of the stage.
Yeah, just working back up front, though, with your race leaders. You see Bowie in front of Alex Coffey, Garcia, Gallimore, and Vincent, the top 5 right now. But for Brandon Bowie, you got 5 laps left to go here. You notice down on the screen there, fastest lap, still going last time by to Brandon Bowie compared to Alex Coffey. So within striking distance, only 7/10 off the race leader. But I think, Adam, it really comes down to who saved their stuff at the end of stage 1.
We're looking at lap times here. Alex Coffey's last lap time, 52.28. Brandon Bowie, 52.2. So fairly close in a lap time there. You can see on lap 19, Alex Coffey was just 0.2 of a second faster, but has lost a little bit of that here on lap 20 and 21. And you can tell Brandon Bowie, he's quite comfortable in this position. He's very familiar in the race lead. As we are counting down the laps to the end of stage number 1. Brandon Bowie, your race leader. Alex Coffey in second. Nico Garcia in third here, who's got a little bit of breathing space between him and Paul Gallimore. And this is going to be quite interesting because we are at that moment where drivers are going to have to decide, are you going to flip stage number 1 or are you going to wait for the stage caution? So we're going to keep an eye out on that to see who's going to come down pit road quickly here, and we're going to take a replay look here at Mackin here with Top It Off Hot Sauce Company as he comes into the pit lane here. Gets there. And he'll just stop right there and parks it, and he is done for the day. That replay sponsored by Top It Off Hot Sauce. Receive 15% off your entire order at topitoffsauce.com using code MRL15. Well, we're taking a look here at Nico Garcia sitting in third right now. He's keeping an eye on Paul Gallimore. It's kind of been a yo-yo action a little bit here between those two as we take a look at his cam here and right on board. You can tell he is absolutely locked in, Zach.
Yeah, I would say he's dialed. That's what I would say. Not a lot of conversation right now between the Aero Camp drivers, and looking up a little bit maybe at another camera or maybe another monitor there, but 2 laps to go here in stage number 1 as Garcia continuing works around P3.
Well, Brandon Bowie with 2 laps to go here in stage number 1, leading the way currently, and you can tell Alex Coffey, he is starting to gain ever so slightly, but it's just not enough to get to the back bumper quite yet. And Nico Garcia, he's just sitting there, he's chilling, he's having a great day so far. He's very happy with how this is going compared to what happened to him at North Wilkesboro. And you can tell Brandon Bowie, He wants to win the in-season challenge here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as we are officially going to start our final lap here in the stage. I would say, yep, we are to lap 25. Again, stage 1, stage 2, 25 laps. The third and final stage is 50 laps. And Brandon Bowie, calm, cool, and collected here so far, Zach, and it's going to be very, very difficult to beat this 35 tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point, and obviously we're going to have pit stops coming up soon after the stage, but I think the biggest thing here, Adam, is no one flipped it inside the top 20. I don't know if any drivers actually came down pit road, so we're going to see a lot of cars and a lot of commotion on that very narrow pit lane here coming after stage 1.
Well, Brandon Bowie off of turn number 4. He will see the green and white checker flag, and he will win stage number 1. Alex Coffey in second, Nico Garcia third, Paul Gallimore fourth, Chris Vincent in fifth, Brendan Fetterplace in sixth, Sean Rogers seventh, eighth goes to Timothy Harper, Corey Moore in ninth, and Mark Sanchez in 10th. That's your top 10 as the caution flag flies here. So there's the result after 25 laps. You can see the top 10 on your screen there. Brandon Bowie, 0.8 of a second. He picked up the pace there as Alex Murray was kind of a little bit all over the place towards the end of that stage, Zach.
No, I have to agree with that. I think we talked about it. Track position is very important, qualifying very important. And right now we did not see a lot of drivers move in and outside the top 10. So yeah, we'll see what stage 2 brings here on Precision Entertainment.
And we'll be right back with pit stops here at the GMD Janitorial 250 live on Precision Entertainment. Welcome back here to the GMD Janitorial 250 as we get ready for pit stop action here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and everybody coming down pit road. Cody, what can you tell us?
Well, I could tell you that things aren't really happy between the Dig 2 and the Aero 1VC. It looks like that altercation between Nico Garcia, Paul Gallimore, and Alex Murray has stirred up a little bit. But one thing to mention is some of the teams were a little bit more docile towards their stage approach, and it looks like that all of them are going to appear to ride it out.
As everybody gets into their pit stalls, thank you very much, Cody, for that report. And everybody taking 4 tires, and we'll pack her full of fuel. And the race off of pit road here is going to be tight, but it looks like Brandon Bowie gets off first. And side by side further back, Nigel Christensen trying to get a little bit ahead here, and he'll come out in 10th. So there we go. Some good pit stop times there from most of these drivers. It was very, very close there between Brandon Bowie and Alex Coffey in the number 54. Zach, did you notice anything in those pit stops?
Well, one thing I wanted to touch on, Adam, is Alex Murray out of pit road right now. Stayed on the pit lane a little longer, trying to service some damage that he picked up in that incident that Cody Banta was talking about. So a good insight from him on pit road. And we're going to see what the 22 machine can do here. No damage, right? Hopefully it's all fixed up. Probably just optional aero damage, but that right front looks really good right now for that 22 Toyota Camry.
And we'll get the field doubled up here and get ready to go racing here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And we have Brandon Bowie leading here at the GMD Janitorial 250. Brandon, you are going to be the man to beat tonight. I feel like you've been calm, cool, and collected here.
Yeah, it's, I mean, to be honest with you, Alex Coffey has kind of been keeping me honest here. You know, so I'm just trying to make sure I hit my marks, make sure I don't spin the tires or get sideways too far. But, yeah, I mean, right now it's going good. I mean, anything can still happen, so I'm kind of dialed in and just trying to focus on the task at hand.
How are the tires towards the end of that first 25 laps?
Starting to get a little slick there, being in front. You know, so it's a little difficult to kind of manage the tires. I mean, of course, if you're out front, you are freer compared to the car behind you. So for me right now, you know, it's really important to just kind of take care of the tires compared to maybe somebody who's a little bit further in the back. They could probably, their tires are probably not as bad. They can probably attack a little bit more. So it just depends on the position, honestly. But yeah, mine's a little on the free side right now.
Well, Brandon, keep on, keep going. We'll hopefully talk to you here at the end of this one, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
Brandon Bowie, our leader here so far in the first 25 laps, Zach, as the field is doubled up, stacked up, and we're ready to go back racing here for stage number 2, brought to you by RS Button Boxes.
Yeah, so stage 2 going to be a little bit shorter than stage 1 since we're pacing under caution right now. So we're going to come back green on lap 30. So it's basically going to be a 20-lap shootout here for stage 2. Just something to note at home for everyone watching on YouTube. We appreciate you tuning in. Adam's doing a great job. I'm happy to be with Adam. I'm happy to be with JP, and I'm happy to be with Cody. So we're having a lot of fun here tonight for Precision Entertainment.
Well, here we go. Pace car lights are out. The field ready to go back racing on lap number 30. Brandon Bowie, Alex Coffey on the front row with Nico Garcia and Paul Gallimore in row number 2. As we come towards the restart zone, brought to you by Van Lilly Stickers Restart Zone. Here we go. And folks, we are going to crank it up here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Brandon Bowie leading here in the first 2 laps of stage number 2, and Alex Coffey sniffing the exhaust pipe of that 35 machine and trying to figure out a way to get around Brandon Baba Bowie here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway as a caution comes out here. We are going to slow things down And I'm curious to know what has happened there. We were caution free in stage number 1. And let's take a look at the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay. And oh, it is the number 12 going around here.
Yeah, it was the 12 of Nick King and Wayne Bowen there on the bottom of the 78. You see the car contact just gets into the right rear, misjudging entry, the 78 and the 12 going right up into the wall there in turn 1 on corner entry. Side by side battling, misjudged it there, and Bowen's going to come to a stop and he's going to bring it down pit road. We'll see how much damage the 12 machine now riding alongside in the cockpit, and you see there just gets a little farther up the racetrack. King started coming down for corner entry, and unfortunately the first caution to come out outside of the stage so far, and that's going to re-rack him here. The battle for the race lead was getting really close, but you see there on the 78, Adam, that left rear just stagnant, not moving, so that's going to most likely end the day here for the 78 of Wayne Bowen.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Wayne Bowen. It kind of looked a little bit like how this weekend was, if you catch the Cup race this weekend with Ryan Blaney going into the wall, and that ended up losing him the in-season challenge to Todd Gilliland. And I'm taking a look one more time. You can just tell King thought he was clear and cleared himself, but unfortunately there was a Bowman there that was not going to be getting out of his way. And thank you to Top It Off Hot Sauce Company for that replay. And there it is on pit road. King is there, and he's going to try and get that car repaired and back out there, Zach. But that's going to be a massive effort on the pit crew's part.
I think the biggest thing, Adam, is we just saw it, right? Is it a racing incident there with King coming down, expecting the 78 to continue to work his entry in? Or was the 78 trying to adjust his line? You see a couple drivers bring it down pit road, though. The 38, the first car down, one driver going to the right, that's Matt Cox, but Mart Sanchez, and it looks like Greg Carr also there, maybe Johnny Shade. So 4 drivers electing to come down pit road here, maybe put fuel in the car, fix some damage. Maybe we can get an update a little later from Cody Banta.
Yes, and Timothy Harper is our lucky dog, so he will go around the racetrack and get a lap back here. So keep an eye on Tim Harper. He was kind of in a very difficult position here, and so he had some damage on the front end of that race car, so he is going to be happy about getting his lap back here. And Cody Banta, what can you tell us?
Yeah, just a quick report on the Dig 2 VCs. It looks like both the 45 and the 23 had about 4.5 minutes worth of damage, so that caution is going to work well for both the Dig 2 cars. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Cody, for that. And we can see now Timothy Harper coming down pit lane here, wondering if he is going to just put some fuel in. The car looking quite better than last time, as the pace car lights are still on. And we can see, looking at Alex Coffey, I mean, he was ready to go here and try and take the lead from Brandon Bowie. Nico Garcia was getting a great show in front of him, but as mentioned earlier, there was a little bit of aggression happening between our top 2 teams. With Arrow and Dig, got a little bit feisty on the radio, Zach, because of the incident that happened with Alex Murray and Nico Garcia.
Yeah, Adam, I think the biggest thing, we're going to try to dial up the 54 machine, Alex Coffey. Alex, you got a copy here. We're the boys up in Precision Entertainment booth.
Yes, sir, I got you.
So obviously you got really close to Brandon Bowie before that caution came out. Are you doing a little different strategy here with the 35, or are you just trying to stay with him in stage 2?
I just got a better car, but can't really do nothing with it with the air. So you got to try to do something early. And fighting the jump these 2 on the inside get with no push is always an uphill battle. So we'll keep climbing.
Yeah, keep climbing. Is there any strategy you're going to play here on the restart?
I'm just trying to get the lead, like every other restart. Not much strategy to it. Just got to go where you can.
Hey, pretty simple. So we'll let you get back to the boys over at Dig, and good luck here on the restart.
Sir, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you to Alex Coffey for joining us here in our broadcast booth. Great interviews there, Zach. And we got the field stacked and ready to go back racing here around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll go green on lap 36 of the 100 laps scheduled here tonight. Brandon Bowie, I wonder if he's going to change up his restart strategy here, as he saw Alex Coffey was right on his back bumper and was ready to pounce on a moment's notice here. Pace car lights are out as we get ready to come to the Van Lille Stickers restart zone here tonight. And here we go. Pace car will pull off. This is a very long circuit. And in this second stage, I don't expect any green flag pit stops from this point forward due to the caution here. Here we go. Pace car will pull in. We're getting ready to go racing into the Van Lille Stickers restart zone. Green flag will fly once again, and we are racing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Much better restart this time by Brandon Bowie and even Nico Garcia. He's going to try and make the move on the inside of Alex Coffey. Coffey did not get off to a great restart there, and now he's going to have to navigate around the number 8 machine. Through turns 1 and 2, they go down the back straightaway. Finally, Alex Coffey getting by, maybe getting a little bit of a nudge there to Nico Garcia, and they separate out. Paul Gallimore is following through for third here as we go into 3 and 4.
Well, you saw the nudge there, maybe a little car contact between the 8 and the 54. That sends Garcia all the way back to P5 right now. Gallimore getting around him. Sean Rogers going 2 for 1, also getting around the Garcia machine. Now Garcia working hard on the outside of the 44. We'll see what the Aero driver can do to get back up front. But we'll see now a different restart than we saw back the first time in stage 2. So Coffey's going to have to go back to work here to chase down that 35 machine, but everyone inside the top 5, single file once again. And one thing you touched on, Adam, was the pit stops during stage 2. Everyone can go the distance on fuel. Fuel mileage around 39 laps in these next-gen cars here at Indianapolis, so that's going to be something to watch as we go into stage 3.
Brandon Bowie out in front. Alex Coffey right on the tailpipe. This is going to get very interesting in stage 2, because I think Alex Coffey has had a moment to kind of get used to the racetrack here, and is now going to start his chase to make the move here at Indianapolis. He is right there. We go down the front straightaway. Coffey right on the back bumper. And the question is, can he get close enough to make the move at any point in time around this racetrack? Both ends of the racetrack completely the same, but it feels awfully different when you're behind the wheel of one of these race cars. Brandon Bowie down to the low side here, trying to give as much dirty air as possible to Alex Coffey. Paul Gallimore is a half a second away from Alex Coffey's back bumper here. We got to keep an eye on that as well, because Alex Coffey, he is right there, less than 1/10 of a second into the corner, and still just not enough speed to make the move. But keep an eye out on Paul Gallimore in the number 11. Remember, Brandon Bowie and Paul Gallimore battling it out here in the Icon Apparel Co. in-season challenge, and this is going to get very interesting, Zach.
Yeah, you talk about the in-season challenge, but also you talk about everyone battling for the cut line in the chase. A couple drivers there. We're watching Ryan Catalano to the outside of Blaine Wilson. A little bit of contact maybe there coming out of turn 1. But Catalano on the high side and the top it off Haas Company entry. He's going to get off of turn 2 and get right to the back bumper at 87. We'll see if he can make a move. It looks like he's going to get sandwiched there. He'll have to push Davis. You're currently in P12. You see Catalano dialed in. He's going to shift it up or down maybe, and he's still to the outside of Blaine Wilson. Now Alex Murray on the scene. Put the 22 machine up on the hunt up to P2 or 12.
Alex Murray, little argy-bargy action going on here You can see everybody kind of playing a little bit of ping pong here as we go down the front straightaway further back in the pack. And right there is the 88 machine of Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders running right now 16th and is currently the hard charger here so far as he now goes up 11 spots here so far tonight. Also another driver we got to keep our eyes on, Nigel Christensen, running P9 right now, trying to get into the chase here tonight. Try and get into the chase. He's only a few points off, and he is the man that is currently out of it currently. So this is going to get very interesting for Nigel Christensen. He's had also a very rough couple of weeks here at Moonshiners Racing League, and you can tell he's starting to pick up the pace just a little bit more. And you can see now Barry Sanders, he's navigated quite well up into the P15 spot, up to up 11 spots, which is very good right now for him. You got to remember, just a couple of weeks ago, he got a huge win here at Moonshiners Racing League and a very well celebrated victory. You can see again, still a lot of guys playing pinball right now, Zach, and it's getting pretty spicy out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, speaking of spicy, there is, you notice Shane Davis getting a little bobble and weave there in front of the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company entry of Ryan Catalano. But you were talking about the points with Christensen. He's trying to chase down Mark Sanchez. Now Sanchez currently 22, position 22 on the racetrack, and Christensen obviously up to P9. So a good day right now for the dig entry of Nigel Christensen. And Mark Sanchez going to have to make up some points. And we'll see what Kyle Holden could do. The 97 working to the inside. Oh, contact there, Adam, as the 97 gets in to Ryan Catalano.
And Catalano, what a save there by Paul Catalano. That could have been a day ender there, a tank slapper into the wall. And let's take a look at the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay. You can tell the 97 brings it in just a little too deep here as he gets right behind the back bumper of Paul Catalano going into turn number 1. And Kyle Holden, I mean, both of those drivers could have just had a day-ending wreck here at Indianapolis, but they both save it. And thank you again to Top It Off Hot Sauce Company for that replay. And really the benefactor out of that was Kyle Holden, as he actually gained a couple of spots out of that, Zach.
Yeah, Kyle Holden had to move up, and you saw everyone behind kind of check up behind Ryan Catalano and Kyle Holden in that moment there in turn 1. Jim Treat had to check up Mark Sanchez along with Blake Hochschild, and just really looking at the cars deeper in the field, we work our way up to Alex Murray, and he's worked his way up to Kenny Reel, who is in P10. So Murray on a really good recovery drive, and we talked about it earlier, Adam. I know he had that incident with Garcia on lap 1, but so many laps, so much time left to get back through the field, and we know Murray can do it. And obviously he's doing that right now here, trying to catch Kenny Reel in that 99.
Alex Murray down 6 spots from his original qualifying spot here, and he's got a little bit longer to go here to get back up to where he needs to be a major factor in this race here. And you can tell he is just right there. He is just putting every bit of effort into the race car to get by Kenny Reel, the 99 machine. And he's got a little bit of breathing space behind him, so he's not worried about who's behind him trying to make the move. He is just looking straight forward here. Another driver, again, I want to mention is Barry Sanders, up 11 spots. What a drive here so far, making moves. He's in the middle of a train right now, so he's got a little bit more work that he can put in to gain some more spots as he's behind the number 19 of 18 of Blaine Wilson, and then has Chris Davis and William Owens in front of him as we hit lap 45 here of the 100 scheduled, and we are about to end stage number 2 as well, brought to you by RS Button Boxes. Everything very, very calm, cool, and collected, we would say, at this point in the race. There was a little bit of argy-bargy action happening just a couple of laps ago, but everybody getting that sorted out as we take a look here at Alex Coffey He is right there. He's keeping Brandon Bowie honest here. And Paul Gallimore, he's getting quite the show in front of him. Sitting in P3, Zach, and we might have a battle for the race lead as we come to the close of stage number 2.
Well, I think the whole time in stage 2, Coffey's been trying to reel in Brandon Bowie, and this is kind of shaping up to the same finish we had in stage 1, where Bowie got out to a nice lead, and I would say Coffey just around 3/10, 4/10, maybe even 5/10, the gap between the top 2 right now. And you talk about calm, cool, and collective. If I'm in the top 5, I am that. Good gaps all the way around, even back to the top 10. But if I'm back there where William Owens is, and the rest of the cars maybe from P12 back to P16, that is where I'm getting a little nervous, because it's that Indy Express train and the freight chugga chugga choo choo train working through just inside the top 15.
Well, Brandon Bowie leading the charge here, has led every single lap since the drop of the green flag at the start. So he has led officially now 47 laps here. And Cody, what do you got for us?
Yeah, just to bring up the in-season tournament, I spoke with both the race leader, the 35 car, Brandon Bowie, and P3, Paul Gallimore, and they had a little bit of a different take on it. Paul Gallimore just described it as David versus Goliath. He said that, you know, you have the first place driver and going up against him seems like a daunting task, but he's got the car to do so. And Brandon Bowie just needs to stay focused, locked in, no speeding, no mental mistakes, and just a smooth race, as he put it. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Cody, for that update here. And you can see Paul Gallimore starting to get real close to Alex Coffey here as we go 3 to go, and caution will fly here late in stage number 2. And we got one car sideways. That is the 87 of Chris Davis, and he was a part of that train that Barry Sanders was a part of. And let's take a look at the top it off hot sauce replay and what exactly has gone on here. Side by side in front of Chris Davis, you got Barry Sanders right behind. You can see the 18 machine of Blaine Wilson. Oh, and they were trying to get into pit lane here before the stage end. And this pit lane, very, very difficult to get into, to get the car slowed down enough before you hit that pit lane line and get counted for speeding. And you can tell we'll ride on board here. He's got 2 cars in front of him, and that again, it was the 18 of Blaine Wilson and the 30 of William Owens, and you can tell he's just trying to slow it up, and it's just not gonna happen. And that what is bringing out our second caution here, Zach. This pit lane, it's probably the most simplest pit lane to get into, but the hardest pit lane to get into.
Well, I was just going to yell on the mic that we had drivers coming down pit road to flip the stage. Alex Murray, Barry Sanders, a couple other drivers. And there you saw Davis was one of those guys trying to flip the stage. Unfortunately, coming too fast in, decided to hang it right, locked it up a little bit. But that's going to change everything, right? Caution on the racetrack. And now you're at the point now where there's guys on pit road that were expecting to flip it. And what are they expected to do, right? What is there to do? Do they stay on the lead lap, right? Do they come a lap down? And that's the biggest question here as we go into the pits. And this is obviously going to end the stage. And that was a big difference maker there with drivers coming down pit road. And then you get hung up with everything going on, obviously, with the caution coming out from Davis.
And you got to wonder, is this will most likely be the end of the stage here. So Brandon Bowie gets another big haul of points here in stage number 2. And we have multiple drivers coming down pit road here. Let's head to Cody.
Just taking a look at the Dig 2 team, a lot of them decided to flip it right when I was reporting on Paul Gallimore and Brandon Bowie. But it looks like they're the only drivers that stayed out, and it looks like they're going to benefit with a lot of track position gain.
This could get very interesting on pit road. Who is going to make a decision here to try and gain more track spots here? as Brandon Bowie putting on 4 tires and a tank full of fuel. And what can you tell us about these tires, Zach?
Well, I just think the biggest thing is coming off of pit road, you saw Coffee there get in front of Brandon Bowie, so that's a change there on pit exit. But you saw Murray come down pit road. Now he's back behind a couple drivers that elected to maybe stay out or also came down pit road earlier on. But these guys that pitted 2 laps earlier, because the caution came out, they realistically have the same tire strategy now that everyone else. So you have 7 drivers that hopped in, or 6 drivers that hopped in front of your race leaders. You saw Alex Coffey go in front of Brandon Bowie. Now you have the in-season tournament or challenge sponsored by Icon Apparel Co. And it's Bowie against Gallimore. They are next to each other, and this is the biggest thing. You see the stints coming up on the board. Chris Vincent electing to not pit here because of the fuel strategy. Remember we talked about earlier, Adam, 39 laps the distance on fuel mileage. So Chris Vincent staying on the racetrack, trying to do a little bit of a different strategy here. Davis, that's Shane Davis in the 79. He already pitted 3 laps ago. And then Catalano down to Sanders were pitting during that caution that came out. So they really get kind of a, almost not a free pass, but a gift, right? Maybe a little gift of giving here at Indy. And now they are in front of the former race leader of Brandon Bowie and Coffey there. So that's going to be the biggest factor. We'll see if Vincent comes this time, maybe trying to lead a lap, but he will stay on the racetrack, Adam.
Well, one thing about Alex Coffey's pit stop time, it was 9.6 seconds, and Brandon Bowie's was 10.3 seconds. So an absolute stellar pit stop by Alex Coffey, and really that made the difference in whether Alex Coffey or not would get the lead here on the restart. And that was incredible there by Alex Coffey as we get the field bunched up, double filed up, and ready to go back racing here. This final stage, 50 laps here, and this could get very, very interesting here. We'll go green on lap number 52 with Chris Vincent and Shane Davis on the front row, Ryan Catalano and Alex Murray making up row 2. Row 3, Kyle Holt and Barry Sanders, and then back down to Alex Coffey, Brandon Bowie, Paul Gallimore, and Nico Garcia. That's going to be a fun 4-way fight as they will try and cut through the field to get up to the race lead. Chris Vincent, he is going to be on 24-lap-old tires when we go back racing here. So watch out for these drivers who are going to be on a little bit fresher tire. If I'm Chris Vincent, this is going to be quite the ride here. And we are going to be in for a show here for the final stage. Tell right there is Alex Coffey, the 54. If he can drive through traffic here and get some space between him and Brandon Bowie, he might go on to win this here tonight as the field is getting ready to go back racing through turn number 4. That pace car will drop off this time. And you got to wonder, what is Chris Vincent going to do here? He's got a lot of guys with fresher tires behind him, next to him, all over the place. So this could be very interesting. And here we go to our Van Lilly Stickers Restart Zone. Green flag will fly, and away we go for stage number 3 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Chris Vincent and Shane Davis side by side going into turns 1 and 2. You can see Chris Vincent in the 33 doing everything he can. A little bit of contact there with Shane Davis as they head down into turn number 2. And the 92 machine of Paul Catalano right there as well. Side by side off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, you see Bowie getting shoved all the way down to the white line by Alex Coffey there. This is the first time that Brandon Bowie's been in dirty air so far this race. Battle for the race lead, though. Chris Vincent on the bottom. Catalano tried to go 3 wide on the top. Shane Davis still working to the outside. Alex Murray is on the scene in the 22 Toyota Camry. As Murray now works to the back bumper of Shane Davis. Everyone going to get smooth. A little wobble and a weeble there from the 33 machine of Chris Vincent, but here comes Alex Murray up to P2, battling, door banging with the 79 there of Shane Davis, back into turn 1. And here comes Alex Murray, battle for the race lead, Adam.
Alex Murray, he wants to go out in front. He says, I want to lead here at Indy. And you can see Chris Vincent doing everything he can, but big wall contact there with Alex Murray. And he is going to have to get back right on the loud pedal as Vincent retakes the lead here. Also further back, you can see Brandon Bowie. He's already made himself up to 6 as Alex Coffey drops down to 9th. Everything popping off here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway right when we needed it. And Alex Murray right now still side by side with Chris Vincent.
We have like 46 laps to go still, and we're popping off already here early in stage 3 on Precision Entertainment. The draft down the front stretch though, Shane Davis trying to push the 33 back to the point, but it's going to be Murray on the outside. He will take sole possession of the race lead, so put the 22 on a recovery drive back to the front for Alex Murray. But Brandon Bowie back to P5 already. Well, what a drive from Chris Vincent, still hanging on to P2 side by side down the back stretch. Everyone going to try to sort it out, but Brandon Bowie got in front of Alex Coffey earlier on the restart, put him up 2 spots over the 54 machine. And now if you're Bowie, you got 2 drivers in front, Kyle Holden on the top, Chris Vincent on the bottom, and you're trying to work around both of them. You see, contact there with the 92 and Alex Coffey.
The 92 of Ryan Catalano, he's going to drop positions here, and this is going to be a big crash here, and the caution will fly. An absolute pandemonium, roadblocks everywhere. And my, oh my, this just got very, very interesting. Barry Sanders involved, multiple cars involved. You can just count 6 on the screen here as we go to the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay. And this really just started with Alex Coffey. Probably a little bit of frustration losing so many spots to Brandon Bowie. He gets blocked off going into the corner and he just ships him. He was not messing around, and then that's when all pandemonium breaks loose. The 42 involved, and my, oh my, the big one happens here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, you saw Barry Sanders try to go around the outside. There's the block there. Here's Barry Sanders trying to go around the top side. And Coffey's going to get shot up the racetrack here on exit. And there is Barry Sanders hard into the inside wall. Plenty of damage there. And probably a meatball too from the iRacing officials. But Coffey getting blocked by Catalano. And just moves him. And we're going to see it one more time here in turn 4. See everyone stack up behind. Gallimore right in the picture there as well. And there's the contact with the left rear of the 88. Coffey also into the wall heavy. One of your favorites here tonight in stage 1 and 2 getting caught up in traffic. You see the 42 and Jim Treat. You see Greg Carr in the 25. Here's Jim Treat there, nowhere to go, gets tagged in the right rear by the 92 coming off the wall. Mark Sanchez also involved, hard contact there for the front end of the 29. A guy that was inside the chase. Nigel Christensen on the outside looking in there, but for the 29, look at the damage on the replay. Jacked up car on the right front there, Adam, and that's plenty of contact.
Well, and you can just tell so many cars involved here. Barry Sanders trying to get out of the way. There's the 42 getting knocked around as well. And a lot of these guys just innocent bystanders in what is considered the big one here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we get a nice, beautiful aerial view there. And Alex Coffey on pit road here, going to put some tires on, but definitely some big damage to the front of that race car. And for him, he was hit by Barry Sanders as he had tried to make a course correction. And it's hard to make a course correction on this racetrack because it's really one line really works. And what ended up happening, Barry Sanders just got way too high and smoked the wall. And unfortunately, collected Alex Murray there. There'll be probably several conversations about that one afterwards. And some guys not happy. Paul Gallimore involved as well. He's on pit road. He's taken some damage. So, and you know who's the lucky one out of all of this, Zach? It's going to be Brandon Bowie. He's missed all of that, and he sits P5. Very comfortable right now. He knows he's got fresh tires. He's also knows he's going to win the in-season challenge at this point in time unless something dramatic happens to him. This really turned out quite well for Brandon Bowie.
Yeah, Brandon Bowie in the 35. You look at Paul Gallimore right now back in P18, down 15 spots. So hopefully we can get an update on him. There's the 11 back on track. We'll see how much damage he has. Hopefully Cody Banta, the weatherman down there on pit road, can give us an update. But you see the 11 and the 44 catching the field. And for Bowie, he was in front of all of that, right? So that was the conversation. You saw a lot of drivers flip the stage. Chris Vincent also staying on the racetrack right now. So still out there trying to maintain track position and try to maybe jump the field. So that's the strategy with the 33, right? If we get another caution here pretty soon, he's really rolling the dice here in Indy right now to see, hey man, why not hope for another caution when the whole field pits? I'll pit and I'll gain plenty of spots. So we'll see what the 33 can do. But up at the point, Adam, it's Alex Murray in that 22 machine. He's going to elect to go to the top here on the restart.
Well, we're going to get everybody stacked up and ready to go back racing our third caution of the night on what has been a very eventful day here. And we have a black flag on Barry Sanders. That is very unfortunate there. And the 42 as well picking up a meatball. That's Jim Treat. So just unfortunate there for a few drivers out there tonight, and the field just getting a little bit smaller here as we get ready to go back green flag racing around the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For Chris Vincent, though, he's on 29-lap old tires, so you got to wonder at some point he's going to have to pit if he doesn't get the caution he needs to get the positions that he wants. And he could be a possible obstacle on the racetrack with how old those tires are starting to get. Alex Murray up on the top side here. Pace car lights are out, and we are going to go here in just a moment here as we head towards the Van Lille Stickers restart zone once again here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll go green on lap 58 of the 100 scheduled. And here we go. Pace car will pull off this time. And we are ready to go racing. Into the restart zone we go as we go on board with Kyle Holden right behind the front row. Green flag flies and away we go. Another good jump there by Alex Murray, as he will get a car length out in front of Shane Davis. Now dives it down to the bottom to block off the low line. And the 19 is right behind him. And you can see further back, Chris Vincent can't get to the bottom here. That's going to allow Brandon Bowie to get through, and he's not going to get through this time. Even with those fresher tires, Chris Vincent using the draft down the back straightaway. But Alex Murray leading here on lap number 58, Zach, and things are going to get very spicy as we head towards the close of this one.
Yeah, I like to call it spicy and dicey. You saw the 97 get really close with Chris Vincent, car contact down in turn 1. But here comes Brandon Bowie in the 35, all over the back bumper there of Chris Vincent. Everyone's single file within the top 5, even outside the top 5, maybe back to P8, P9. They're starting to battle side by side, but everyone up front doing a great job right now of maintaining their track position like we talked about. And with the fuel mileage strategy with the 33, 39 laps, all green, he was able to probably clutch it in there to save some fuel under pacing. So we'll see when Chris Vincent has to bring it down pit road. The in-season tournament right now is sponsored by Icon Apparel Co. The biggest factor, Brandon Bowie up in front, Paul Gallimore back in P20 with probably some damage. So that's going to be a major storyline. You see Gallimore working behind Coffey. Garcia also in the picture, so maybe a spicy battle later in the field as well with Garcia, Coffey, and Gallimore all trying to work their way back up to the front.
Well, it's going to be a difficult task from here, especially if you got any damage on the front end of the race car here in that dirty air. It's just going to feel so much worse as we go back through turns 1 and 2. Alex Murray now goes purple with a 51.130. Alex Murray, he's got some speed in that race car as he starts to get the gap that he would love to have throughout the remainder of this one. 0.7 of a second in front of Shane Davis. And you can see Kyle Holden, Chris Vincent holding his own here, as now he has 32 lap worn tires. And Kyle Holden currently the biggest mover so far, 21 spots. So we finally get into those double digits a little bit higher, Zach. And this is going to get very interesting to see how the pit strategies are going to work, because you are going to be for sure pitting at some point in this stage for fuel. And looks like I'm getting word now that the 29, Mark Sanchez, is in. And you can tell just some big damage on the front end of that race car. Not a good night for the 29 here, but for Nigel Christensen, he is going to be very, very happy about what is going on with Mark Sanchez, because Nigel trying to get into the chase, but he has to beat Mark Sanchez for that spot.
Yeah, you saw the 29 with some damage on the right front there. Nigel Christensen, though, in the 20 machine for Dig Esports, now working to the inside of one of his stablemates there, of Corey Moore. Battle for P9 right now. Had to get out of the gas a little bit to make sure he didn't get up into the 19. He's going to work all the way down to the inside pit lane wall. There goes the 38 by. There goes Timothy Harper as well. So Christensen losing some time there. Got a shove there from Chris Davis. There's Timothy Harper in the 23 machine. The Toyota Camry working the outside of Blake Hochschild. And this is the interesting battle on the racetrack. Probably the closest we've seen is you see Harper get a little dirty air there from the 38, and Christensen will work back to the inside.
Alex Murray, he's on a tear here as he goes up to 1.1 seconds in front of Shane Davis. This is the speed that we've been looking for out of this 22 machines for the past couple of weeks. Has just not been able to let the wings fly at all in that Toyota Camry, and you can just tell he is enjoying this right now. He doesn't have anything to worry about behind him or in front of him, as Brandon Bowie finally getting by Chris Vincent here, and he moves up into fourth. Let's take a look here further back. Let's check in with Paul Gallimore here, our other driver in our in-season challenge, and he's got so many cars in front of him, including Nico Garcia and Kenny Reel. So he's got a little bit of work to do here. And Cody, what can you tell us from pit road?
Yeah, so it looks like during that last pit cycle, Nico Garcia, Paul Gallimore, and Sean Rogers got a little bit into it entering pit road. So that gave him a little bit of damage. That's why we see him as we head into turn 4 here. See him with a little bit of damage, so he just did a full pit stop, took this moment to recollect himself, and now he's back on the hunt to climb a mountain, as he said. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Cody, for that. Well, Sean Rogers now in that 44. He was last week's winner at North Wilkesboro. Makes a little bit of contact. That could have been, oh, that was so close. A little bit more sideways. That car was toast here in Indianapolis. And now here comes Alex Coffey. Big wreck down the back straight away. Sean Rogers involved along with Alex Coffey. And does that bring out the caution? Yes, it does. And Alex Coffey, again, involved in an incident of his own doing there. And let's take a look at the top it off hot sauce replay. You can see here comes the 54. As Sean Rogers got a little bit of a nudge there. And the 45 as well involved in this one. And just like that, Sean Rogers collected with pretty decent sized damage to the front end of that race car. Just unfortunate again here at Indianapolis. Sean Rogers did a great job saving it the first time. And then the second time, unfortunately, was the innocent bystander. Oh, did he come off of Sean Rogers' front bumper there, Zach?
Yeah, there was contact there. Johnny Shade there, the Dig Esports entry, the 45, got a little bit loose and got checked up there after the contact with the 44. And you're going to see here comes Coffey, a push to the right side there, pushes the 45 into the outside wall, comes down the racetrack into the 44 of Sean Rogers. Obviously, unfortunate there. 2 Dig Esports entries trying to work together on the high side, and a misjudged push there between the 45 and the 54. So We'll see some more car contact and some more damage collected there. You talked about the punched-in nose of the Sean Rogers machine. We'll see if everyone brings it down pit road here. It looks like everyone will. So remember, Chris Vinson, the biggest benefactor here with the gamble on the fuel mileage strategy, and he will be P5 on entry of the pit lane.
Well, and you also got to talk about Alex Murray as well, leading here at Indianapolis with Brandon Bowie on much fresher tires as well. And Alex Murray, he's going to be very, very excited about this. Now, question is, who's going to take a risk here in this pit stop? Do we see anybody maybe try and do 2 tires instead of 4? Let's see. We're looking at Alex Murray right now. Alex Murray up on the jacks. And he will be 4 tires. Brandon Bowie, he will go to 4 tires as well. And Alex Murray has been jumped in the pits here by Shane Davis. What a pit stop there by Shane Davis, who went 8.1 seconds in the pit stall.
Yeah, one thing with the update that iRacing recently had was it's different on pit lane depending on how much fuel you put in the car. It used to be if you put 4 tires in a full tank of fuel, it was the same. Right now, tires wrap up a little bit sooner than the full tank of fuel. So if you elect to go with a different strategy, maybe less fuel to try to go the distance with 35 laps to go, there's a possibility you go a shorter distance on pit lane with your pit stop. You see 8.1 seconds compared to 10.2 for Alex Murray, 10.2 also for Brandon Bowie. Only a 5.6 second gap or stop there for Kenny Reel in that 99. So definitely some changes on pit road with the recent iRacing update, and is playing a strategy call right now.
Well, and let's go ahead and talk to the man with a very fast pit stop time there, Shane Davis. Shane, that pit stop was immaculate. You're out in front now.
Yeah, we did it by accident a little bit. We forgot to click back on our left side tires. I was prepping up for a green flag run there, and we took 2 tires, but now we're going to sit on it and see how it goes.
Well, I was wondering who was going to take a risk here, and I guess an accidental risk is still a risk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in it for the points. I'm going back in time here on the G920 this week, so my other wheel getting broke down. So we're going to try to make it work and see if we can hold them off. But I know Bowie and Murray's going to be really fast, and I'm just hoping to come in the top 5. I haven't ran in about 6 months, so it's a little rusty.
Well, you're out here in front at Indianapolis. That's got to feel pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. These guys are a great group of guys to run with, a lot of fast guys, and I started in the back, kind of made our way back to the front, and now hopefully we can hold on.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys.
And Zach, what can you tell us here so far? What are some of the thoughts you're thinking here?
Well, I mean, for Shane Davis, you just heard him, right? Not taking left side tires. So kind of now you made the bed you have to sleep in, and that's the strategy for the 79 machine. You know you have fast drivers around you with Alex Murray, Brandon Bowie. You saw Reel play a little strategy call there, and Kyle Holden still the most positions gained on track with the 97 machine, up 19 spots right now. But how about Paul Gallimore? Up to P7, trying to make a difference here in the in-season challenge sponsored by Icon Apparel Company. So that's the biggest thing I'm going to be watching here with 34 laps to go, Adam. Can the 11 machine of Paul Gallimore play the underdog, get up there and battle with the 35 of Brandon Bowie? It's going to be interesting here on Precision Entertainment, and we got the rest of the way here. And Adam, I think it's going to be a fun closing section of this race.
Well, everybody can get to the finish on fuel here. Shane Davis, your race leader, as we get ready to head to the Van Lille Stickers restart zone. And Shane Davis and Alex Murray make up row 1. Brandon Bowie, Kenny Reel in row 2. Kyle Holden, Brandon Fetterplace, row 3. Paul Gallimore, Blaine Wilson, row 4. And then the top 10, William Owens and Chris Davis. Pace car is off. And here we go. Into the restart zone. Flagman with the green flag in his hands, and away we go. And good launch there by Shane Davis. As now Brandon Bowie will pull up alongside Alex Murray as we go into turns 1 and 2. Shane Davis down to the bottom. Alex Murray stuck on the top side. He is not going to like that top side very much right now. Side by side with Kenny Reel and Kyle Holden as well for the 4th spot. And Shane Davis down the back straightaway, still leading here, but he's got to run with Brandon Bowie right behind him. Brandon Bowie, he is trying to make magic happen here at Indianapolis. Kenny Reel down to the bottom as well to block off Kyle Holden. And you can see a little bit of banging action here. And Shane Davis, he's going to try and block. Alex Murray is right there. Oh my, that could have been very, very close to a big wreck there as we go down the front straightaway, Zach.
Yeah, Brandon Bowie got in front of Alex Murray there on the restart. You see the 22 sucked back up to the 35 machine. Shane Davis leading the way on that two tire strategy. Now you have Brandon Bowie all over the back bumper. We'll see if the former race leader can get back around the 79, but Alex Murray still working in the section. We'll see if he can get even closer to Brandon Bowie as they work on the backstretch.
Let's head down to Cody Banta, who can report some more from pit road.
Yeah, honestly, a surprising drive from the number 22 machine. You guys talk about the season that he sort of had, you know, whether it was disconnections, internet troubles. He's certainly having the drive of a life, and he's letting...
And I have to interrupt you here. Sorry, we'll go back to you in just a moment, Cody. It's Brandon Bowie. He's fighting side by side down the front straightaway with Shane Davis. He's trying to get the gap. Now they're going to go 3 wide into turn number 1 with Alex Murray on the bottom side. And Alex Murray looking for the race lead with Shane Davis on the outside line. Brandon Bowie gets shuffled back, and Alex Murray takes the lead of the race. Oh my, what a move there by Alex Murray. 3 wide into turn 1, which is not advisable whatsoever, as we will take a look at that one more time here from Top It Off Hot Sauce. Look at this move from the 22. He was all the way back there, and these guys were going side by side. Brandon Bowie covering off the bottom side here, and watch what Alex Murray does. He realizes, hey, there's a gap opening. He's going to go for it and goes 3 wide into turn number 1. You couldn't pull that off in the Indy 500, Zach.
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1 special there for Alex Murray. He takes the combo meal and moves back in front, back onto the live action though after the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay. And the biggest thing, Alex Murray up to the point. Bowie now trying to work around Shane Davis. Gallimore 1 spot closer to Brandon Bowie though. But the biggest thing, Adam, is where is Gallimore on track compared to Bowie? He's a little farther back. 1 car separating, it's Kenny Reel, but 2 drivers battling for the in-season challenge inside the top 5.
Well, let's go back to Cody Banta, because he was making an excellent point here. So Cody, go ahead and continue on where we left off.
Yeah, as I mentioned, a drive of a life, or as a famous YouTuber says, spread them eagle wings. But we talk about the in-season troubles that Murray has had. He really needs a really good point state, and you know, talking to the Dick 2 VC, they've really driven themselves into spots, and that 22 car is fast in dirty air and fast in clean air.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Cody, for that, and apologies for that interruption early on here, as Paul Gallimore has now moved into the 4th spot here. And he is absolutely happy right now, because now he sees Brandon Bowie in his windshield and is going to try and make the drive. Brandon Bowie does, though, move up into P2. He's going to try and chase down Alex Murray. And I tell you what, that 3 wide move, that's a highlight reel kind of move here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That was absolutely fantastic, Zach.
Yeah, 28 laps to go, and I think we've seen this story before here in Moonshiners Racing League competition. It's going to be one of those battles with Alex Murray and Brandon Bowie, a classic between the 22 and the 35, and another chapter getting written here tonight on Precision Entertainment. Deeper in the field, though, the battle for P7 heating up. Kenny Reel on that 2-tire strategy, falling and fading a little bit. There is Blaine Wilson moving up. Needed to have a good point stay. He's having that right now. Car contact, though. Blaine Wilson up into Kenny Reel. He saves it on corner exit. Good save there. But to the inside now, it's Davis. The 87 machine trying to get the spot. He's trying to take advantage. You see Kenny Reel checked out now, and everyone going to stack up 2 by 2 behind Chris Vinson. Also working with Alex Coffey and Sean Rogers in tow for P10.
Sean Rogers involved in an incident just a few laps ago, and the reason for a caution. And right now, he is currently sitting into the top 10. So we got to keep an eye out on Sean Rogers. He's probably dealing with a little bit of frustration from the incident just a few laps ago, as we have 27 laps to go here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I want to talk about just keeping an eye on the gap up front. Brandon Bowie starting to close the gap, but we take a look here at Sean Rogers, and you can tell he's just doing everything he can, staying calm, but you can tell maybe just a little bit of frustration as he's trying to get around the 87 of Chris Davis now. And Chris Davis, he's having a heck of a drive here tonight as well, up 12 spots. It's been crazy towards the second half of this race, Zach, as we've seen guys jump around from spot to spot. Our current hard charger so far, Kyle Holden, who is up 19 spots, as we're looking now at Nigel Christensen. Nigel Christensen currently sitting in P17, has not had a great night tonight, and he would love to be a few places higher just for points. But Mark Sanchez all the way down to 23rd right now, and many laps behind at this point, and he had some big damage as well that he had to come in and repair. So Nigel Christensen will be ecstatic just to be able to finish in front of Mark Sanchez, Zach.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, you saw Christensen falling all the way down to P21 on the racetrack right now. Mark Sanchez only 2 spots behind, so Christensen did have that points gap trying to reel it in to get up in front of him for P16 going into the point standings. But now Christensen kind of fading back to P21, although Mark Sanchez 9 laps down, he's only 2 spots back in the running order right now compared to the 20 machines. So that's right now the battle at the cut line, something to watch here the rest of the evening. One thing to note, Jim Treat currently out of the race. Nick King, Wayne Bowen, and Matt Mackin, Barry Sanders and Mark Sanchez both getting back onto the track. So right now only 4 DNFs with 25 laps to go here on Precision Entertainment.
Well, as we've been able to finally breathe here just for a moment, back out to our battle for the race lead. Brandon Bowie trying to cut the gap here has finally gotten that under 0.8 of a second. Now, it's always good when you can run faster than the car in front of you, but here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you can be the faster car and you can get up to the back bumper of somebody, but it's so hard to pass around here. And a guy like Alex Murray, who's out in front looking for the win here tonight, that's going to be an absolute hard car to pass here tonight, especially as we've had the rivalry between Aero and Dig eSports tonight show off just a little bit of frustration at the beginning of this race, Zach. So Alex Murray, he's going to be doing everything he can to stay out in front as he's picked up the pace.
Yeah, one thing we don't touch on often is the team standings here in the GMD Janitorial Cup Series. And one thing to note, currently Dig Team 1 up 2 points going into this race over Aero Racing. And that's Brandon Bowie, Garcia, and a few other drivers in that stable inside of Aero. So a 2-point separation gap on the team standing side. And that's why you see some of the frustrations in between the Aero versus Dig conversation, because both of them are some of the front runners we see here week in and week out here in Moonshiners Racing League competition. And Brandon Fetterplace also working on track in P6, another Aero entry there. Kyle Holden just in front. I think the biggest talking point, Adam, we continue to go back to is the Icon Apparel Co. in-season challenge. And I know Gallimore's currently in P4, but he's got to make up some ground if he wants to get to Brandon Bowie.
Well, the biggest worry right now for all these drivers is going to be the tires. They're good on fuel, but the tires is what's going to be the concern, because they have a pretty long ways, especially if you're Shane Davis. Shane Davis only took 2 tires in that last pit stop. So he's got tires that are going to be screaming, yelling, throwing a temper tantrum to get into the pits here, and it didn't quite work out in his favor. He sits P3 after restarting up front. But for these drivers up front, that is going to be a very interesting battle. And Brandon Bowie, he is not gaining very much time, if any at all here. This time he will gain quite a bit of time in the front straightaway portion. And you can just tell Brandon Bowie, he would love to get another win here at Moonshiners Racing League. There it is on your screen, 0.8 of a second separating first and second place, and then another 1.8 seconds all the way back to Shane Davis, who is just trying everything he can to try and stay in third. We heard from him earlier. He said he wanted to finish in the top 5. So he's got to do everything he can to stay up there, and he's going to be kind of in a difficult spot here, and I would say about the next 6 to 7 laps when those tires start to scream a little bit. Cody, what can you tell us about the playoff picture?
Well, I can tell you what, if Alex Murray were to finish with the win here, he would end up replacing his teammate in Alex Coffey, and he would end up taking that P2 spot. So there's a little bit on the line for the points, but also something to mention about Alex Coffey. He did say that these cars are hard to pass. He said anything past 0.7, there's no shot at a driver reaching, but anything within 0.6, that's a shark in blood infested waters. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Cody, for that. And Alex Murray, he is very comfortable up front here. He's had a fast car in the dirty air and in clean air. And Brandon Bowie right now as well. He's been very fast tonight. He led the first 2 stages, the first 50 laps of this one. And we're now going to head to the 87 of Chris Davis right now. Chris Davis battling with Alex Coffey. Alex Coffey, not the greatest night he's been hoping for, and there's probably going to be some words talked about him after tonight as we look at the 87 of Chris Davis, focused in, trying just to remain in front of this Alex Coffey car in the number 54. And Alex Coffey, he's on the back bumper, but just not enough speed to make the move. And it's going to get interesting because Alex Coffey's time is running out here. He finally finds a little bit of clean air. Going to pull up alongside as they're going to go side by side. You can see Alex Coffey down to the low side here. And Davis up high. Could have been close there for Davis. Almost got into the wall as they go side by side down the front straightaway. Coffey is there, though. He is going to go ahead and take the spot away officially here into the top 10 here for Alex Coffey, and just slides up the racetrack. And now he's going to try and chase down Sean Rogers, another driver, unfortunately, that he came into contact with as well. Actually, getting by Chris Davis, that kind of helped him out as well. Another driver we probably haven't mentioned a whole lot tonight is Nico Garcia. Nico Garcia started up at the front tonight and has gone completely backwards. Was involved with a little bit of an incident at the beginning of the race and just has not been able to recover as quickly as he was probably hoping for. Currently sits P12 side by side with Chris Vincent. Vincent in the 33. And let's go ahead and go to you, Zach. What's going on?
I just think the biggest thing right now in the side-by-side conversation with Davis, with Garcia, with Coffey, right? Coffey now doing the recovery drive for the 54 machine at Dig. You see the side-by-side battle. Garcia also on his own recovery drive, trying to work around Davis there. And these drivers were starting up in P5, inside the top 5 during qualifying and getting into the race, and now have slipped away with some incidents, with some pit strategy. But now Coffey and Garcia back on the move in the right direction. We'll see if they can continue to hunt down the leaders here with 17 laps to go.
17 laps here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that looked like a little bit of contact there, a little dust getting kicked up with Nico Garcia on the bottom side as the 23 now getting around Garcia, and that is a lap car. Actually, the 23 currently, no, he's not, excuse me. That's Harper, Timothy Harper. As I was trying to look up and down, I was like, where is that 23 at? There he is. Tim Harper now up to 12th. This has not been a good night for Nico Garcia, Zach.
No, Nico Garcia, we talk about it all summer long right now. Garcia just trying to be a spoiler, right? Go get the race wins and just put him up on the board. And he's been doing that earlier on in the season. We saw a couple of good performances from him, and then obviously getting caught up in a few wrecks. And this is another week here for Garcia where he's just trying to continue to make his way back up the leaderboard. Maybe gets caught in someone else's incident, and that's the problem with the 8. But he's doing a great job just hanging tight behind Timothy Harper. But the battle between these two drivers is just allowing Davis to continue to work away, and Alex Coffey right now trying to chase down Sean Rogers. So we'll see what the 54 can do, and along with the 87 as they work away from this pack.
Well, things are single file all throughout this racetrack here. Now it just becomes a matter of speed at this point, and can you make a move when you need to? And this is gonna go, so 15 laps to go here at the GMD 250, and this is live here on Precision Entertainment, live in the Precision Entertainment broadcast booth. Adam Thompson, Zach Case here in the broadcast booth, and our producer Justin Prince trading the microphone for some producing duties tonight. And then of course our pit reporter of Cody Banta. This has been a great race so far, been fairly entertaining, and just kind of we're sitting here going, what's going to be the strategy? What's going to happen? And honestly, I never expected to see Alex Murray to make a good recovery drive like we're seeing here.
Well, Adam, I think it's a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill out of that 22 machine of Alex Murray. He was able to get there to flip stage 2. He got the caution to come out, and then he's been able to hold on to this track position. And remember, we saw the 3 wide send there into turn 1 to get to the bottom of the 2-for-1 special like we talked about. But now the lap times, Adam, between these two top finishers or runners right now, between these two guys, they're doing a great job maintaining each other's gap. You don't see Brandon Bowie really closing in on it. Last time by there, Brandon Bowie was a little bit quicker, but not enough to really show a lot of gap. So with 13 to go, is Brandon Bowie saving? Is he waiting for Alex Murray to make a mistake? You saw a little bit of slide there when we cut over to him, so we'll see what Bowie can do here, Adam.
Let's head down to Cody Banta, who has something about our biggest mover of the race.
Yeah, just speaking quickly with Kyle Holden, you know, I asked him, how did you put yourself in that 5th place spot? And he said that strategy. So it looks like that going into the final stage, he knew that it was going to be a strategy type of race. And so far he's done a fantastic job as he looks to put himself now into potentially the top 6 in terms of the playoff format. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much for that update on Kyle Holden, up 19 spots here so far, and he is behind Paul Gallimore. And of course, another topic of discussion is the in-season race challenge brought to you by Icon Apparel. And for Paul Gallimore, he's gave it a good effort tonight, but unfortunately it's just not going to be enough. Brandon Bowie, he's got so much speed in that race car, and it's a full over 4-second gap to Brandon Bowie or Paul Gallimore as we look at the gap here between Alex Murray, our race leader, and Paul Gallimore. There we go. Now we've got that fixed, and you can just see it is quite the gap here. Paul Gallimore was slightly faster just a lap ago, but just not going to be enough to get by not only Shane Davis, and then get up to Brandon Bowie, I should say. And for Alex Murray, he's watching that gap, I guarantee you right now. Alex Murray, he's not going to allow Brandon Bowie to catch him that quickly here, as we are almost to 10 laps to go here at the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the GMD Janitorial 250. GMD, a great sponsor here at Moonshiners Racing League, Zach, and they put on this race, and what an entertaining race this really has been, and we have Alex Murray out in front.
Yeah, Alex Murray out in front right now. We were talking about Paul Gallimore moments ago, and I think the biggest thing we've noticed here in the summer races with Paul Gallimore, currently P6 in points, but the reason he's in the position of battle buoy right now in the in-season challenge is because of the races he's been able to stack up, the good finishes. And Paul Gallimore early on in the season was a favorite, but we didn't see him start off hot, right? And now he's into the groove. He's into the summer heat, and he's getting groovy, and he's heating up, as a lot of drivers would say right now. So Paul Gallimore becoming a favorite here inside the top 5, I would say, so far in the midpoint of the season as we work into the second half. But biggest thing, Adam, is just, if I'm Paul Gallimore, right now the battle, yeah, it's Brandon Bowie all the way if we go green. But if there's a caution and you see Gallimore right on the back bumper of Bowie, or maybe some calamity with the top 2, you could see Gallimore get back in the picture. We just saw it on Sunday with Gilliland getting up in front of Ryan Blaney there with the late race caution in the wreck. But obviously the biggest thing, Adam, is can Paul Gallimore get the wishes he needs, or maybe the caution he wants to get back up there to the 35?
Let's head over to Ryan Catalano right now, sitting P12. Excuse me, we're going to Chris Vincent and Nico Garcia side by side down the back straight away. And Nick Garcia, he is there. Chris Vincent trying to get by. Chris Vincent's had an interesting race, stayed out for over 30 laps on tires, and it kind of worked out for him in a little bit. And then big turn there, Garcia getting into the 33, and that may bring out the caution here, and it is. We have a caution here with 8 laps to go. Oh my.
See, it's commentator's curse there, Adam.
Yep, you mentioned it. You just had to say something there,
I just
Zach,
had to say it. I'm sorry. I will. I'll take the blame there. The boss man over at Precision of Alex Murray probably not going to be a little happy with me, but Brandon Bowie doing a good job. The top it off Hot Sauce Company replay here, Adam, and I think the biggest thing we saw this battle, Chris Vincent squeezing up Brandon Bowie there, and they just got really close into turn 3, and coming off of turn 3 exit, this is where you're going to see the 33 slide up. Remember, getting washed up a little bit, and he just lost it on his own right in front of Garcia. So Chris Vincent losing it on the overcorrect hard into the outside wall, and that's going to bring out the caution, Adam.
Well, that is just unfortunate there, and of course it's right as we cut to them, and Chris Vincent with a meatball flag, so he will unfortunately be done here at the GMD Janitorial 250, and he had a great run tonight, just unfortunately comes to an end. But this now turns everything on its head here, Zach. Alex Murray was leading by 0.8 of a second over Brandon Bowie, and that is going to be cut down to 0. And there's a good slow-mo. Man, Chris Vincent, that's a hard hit to the wall. Thank you to Top It Off Hot Sauce Company for that replay. But back to my point here, Zach. Brandon Bowie will be on right next to Alex Murray, but an opportunity for Paul Gallimore. Maybe an unseen opportunity, but this could be very interesting in the remaining laps of this one.
Yeah, plenty of storylines here, Adam, as we close into the final 10 laps, inside the final 10 laps here at Indianapolis. But the biggest thing with Chris Vincent there, he was plus 15 on the cut line and P14 in the points. And with that wreck, obviously going to affect him. We'll see the battle on pit road, though. Murray and the whole field is going to come in behind him. So Alex Murray going to lead the way. Matt Cox and a couple drivers stay out. Paul Gallimore taking the right-hand turn before the commitment cone. And that's the difference maker right there, folks. That's the in-season challenge playing a factor into the pit strategy, Adam. And we'll see what Brandon Bowie can do here.
Well, as we go down pit road here, all eyes on Alex Murray and Brandon Bowie. Who's going to get out of here faster? Last time for Alex Murray was a very quick pit stop here. Brandon Bowie, he's going to have to do it better as they both go on the jacks here. And here we go, Murray, 2-tire pit stop here. Brandon Bowie, he's going to go 2 tires. Who's going to get out first here? It's going to be Alex Murray. Shane Davis as well. Good pit stop there. And this is going to get very, very interesting here as Paul Gallimore, a 6.5 second pit stop there for Shane Davis. And we are going to have a race to the finish here. We should be going green with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, Adam, the biggest thing with the pit stops, you just talked about it, a couple 2-tire takers there. Let's break down the field right now. You got Paul Gallimore leading. He's trying to be the underdog in the in-season challenge, also looking for some valuable points. You have one of the bigger movers here tonight of Kyle Holden in P2. Blaine Wilson trying to take advantage of that. How about Alex Coffey staying on the racetrack? What a recovery drive, and now he's up to P4. And you got Corey Moore, Johnny Shade, and then you get Alex Murray and Brandon Bowie. So 7th and 8th place right now. You see the pit times coming up onto the board right now on your ticker there on YouTube. And you see the pit stops almost identical for Alex Murray and Brandon Bowie. Shane Davis also taking 2 tires. The first driver to take 4 there was Nico Garcia in P15. That's the 8 machine of Nico Garcia. So Adam, pit strategy now playing a factor here as we're going to close in on the final moments of this one.
Yes, we will. And Cody, do you like this pit strategy late in this one? Who do you see coming out on top?
I think it's too close to call, guys. I think that if you're in the front, I think the dirty air is going to play into a factor. Also, the restarts. We haven't really seen Paul Gallimore or Kyle Holden on these restarts. Alex Coffey is the person who's restarted strong, so that's another thing to keep out for. But I understand the moves on why people took rights. To you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Cody Banta. Good work down there on pit road. Paul Gallimore is going to be the man out front, and we're going to go green flag racing with 4 laps to go here, Zach. And Zach, if you're in Paul Gallimore's shoes right now, you have to get off to the perfect restart here.
Well, you know Brandon Bowie's going to be in P8 on the outside. So if I'm Paul Gallimore, I'm going to get a jump early in the box, make sure I line up my restart correctly. You got to understand, cold tires, though, going to play a factor in this one. But Adam, if I'm Paul Gallimore, I want to get out in front. If I have to let Kyle Holden go, let him go, right? But at the same time, Paul Gallimore also battling for a race win here tonight. So a lot of different storylines for that 11. If I'm Brandon Bowie, though, I want to make sure I can get around Alex Murray and go up to the front. Alex Coffey, another driver in front of Bowie that I'm going to have to watch out for. The tires getting warmed up there from everyone in the second row. And Adam, this is what we love to call. This is why we do it, and this is why we're here on YouTube on Precision Entertainment. The final moments of this one here for the Janitorial Cup Series. And this is going to be a good one. I'm going to let you break it down, Adam. Take it away, brother.
Here we go to the Van Lille Stickers restart zone, hopefully for the last time here at Indianapolis. Paul Gallimore, the underdog in the in-season challenge brought to you by Icon Apparel. He is going to try and not only win the in-season challenge, but he wants to win here in Indianapolis. Pace car is off. The flagman with the green flag in his hands. And here we go. Green flag flies, and away we go with 4 laps to go at the line, and this is gonna be a great restart there by Paul Gallimore as he gets some breathing space behind him as the field falls into turns 1 and heading into 2. You can see Kyle Holden right there. He has had a great race. Alex Murray, he wants to get a win here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Brandon Bowie did not gain any positions right off the bat, but he is side by side here with Corey Moore. Corey Moore, though, faster down the back straightaway, and you can just see everybody, they're trying to get anywhere possible up this racetrack, but Paul Gallimore will come to through turn number 4, and he will be out in front here with the underdog, and we got a caution.
Yeah, caution on the racetrack, Adam. It was deeper in the field, a couple drivers being involved. Looked like Sanchez was back there as well. Matt Cox, also one of the drivers. There it is, William Owens in the 30 machine. And one thing I was going to make a point of, it was another arrow and dig battle there between Kyle Holden and Coffey. Top it off, Hot Sauce Company replay, though. We'll see what happens going into turn 3. You see Owens on the bottom on the inside of Greg Carr. Does it happen in front of him, or is it all Owens here? He's going to slide up the track, getting in a little too hot. gets into the outside of another driver there, and he's going to slide up back across the track there, and Matt Cox able to avoid him, but because of his speed slowing down there, that was the caution, and he loses it there. So you already see the caution lights out. So because he came back up the racetrack there, Adam, that's what brought off the caution.
Unfortunate there, but fortunately no one else involved in this one with William Owens. And this will most likely, is this going to bring out overtime, Zach?
Yeah, there will definitely be overtime here by the time we pace all the way around and get everyone jumbled back up and back in line. You see the final shot here, one of the replays there with Owens, a couple other drivers moving on in the back one more time around for this one. But the biggest thing here is Brandon Bowie got caught deeper in the field behind Alex Murray, behind Alex Coffey, some of the other front runners from Dig. You saw Kyle Holden battling there, but there's the cars contact with Johnny Shade and William Owens. And Johnny Shade was just there, and you see the slider. We're not doing dirt racing here tonight. That's in the infield, but we do have some action here on the oval, on the asphalt side. So, Adam, I think the biggest thing is, if you are Paul Gallimore, how do you continue to repeat that same effort you just saw in the last restart?
Well, that restart was absolutely outstanding. That's exactly what he needed right then and there. And the fact that Brandon Bowie is all the way down to 7th right now, it's going to be a difficult task for that 35 machine to move on up the order in just a green, white checker. And we did have some drivers head into the pits. Ryan Catalano, William Owens, Nigel Christensen, Johnny Shade, Matt Cox, Chris Vincent, all into the pits. Excuse me, Chris Vincent is already out of this one here. So this is going to be very interesting, as we will have overtime here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Zach, this is exactly what we wanted in this one.
This is heating up to be a really good battle, Adam. And one thing to note here for all the viewers at home, it's going to be one overtime attempt here in Moonshiners Racing League competition. So if we see the caution prior to the white flag, that will end the race. Everyone has to maintain their race speed behind the pace car, maintain their position, and that's where you'll finish. If we do get to the white flag, though, the next flag will be the checkered flag, no matter what. If there's a wreck in the front, if there's a wreck in the back, obviously we're going to race on through the wrecks there and try to get back to the line. So if you're Paul Gallimore, you know you have a teammate of Brandon Bowie to the outside of you in Kyle Holden. Then for Alex Coffey in P3, he was able to get up in front of Wilson and Davis there on the last restart. So I wouldn't count out Alex Coffey right away. Murray in P5, you got Shane Davis in P6, and Brandon Bowie trying to battle for that in-season tournament there. The underdog right now, though, of Paul Gallimore on the front row. We're going to get lights out here pretty soon. We'll see what Gallimore elects to do. Does he go to the top or does he go to the bottom?
Here we go. Choose time. And Paul Gallimore, he's going to go to the top side of the racetrack here, and Kyle Holden will take the bottom. Looks like Alex Murray as well takes the bottom. So let's see what happens here. Paul Gallimore. Do you think, Zach, with Paul Gallimore taking the top side, that was the best decision there?
Well, you saw in the last restart, he went to the bottom, got a really good launch, and was able to slide on up in front of Kyle Holden and clear him off of turn 1. Now the conversation, though, is does he repeat this on the top side, right? He will have the preferred line if he is clear on the outside going into turn 1 and turn 2. So I think if I'm Paul Gallimore, that's the decision I wanted to make. I want to change it up. I want to have maybe Blaine Wilson behind me, right? But one thing to count out, though, you have Alex Coffey starting on the inside. You have another Dig teammate there of Alex Murray behind him. Maybe Coffey sends it 3 wide into turn 1. Who knows here? But we'll see what Gallimore does on the restart. Adam, take it away, brother.
Well, here we go. One attempt at a green-white checker overtime finish here. Paul Gallimore has pulled a worldie here to get out in front, not only in the in-season challenge brought to you by Icon Apparels Co., and then, of course, being in front and is in front of for the win here tonight. This is going to be a stellar finish to the line. And for the final time tonight, we head to the Van Lilly's restart zone, the Van Lilly Stickers restart zone. Kyle Holden on the inside, Paul Gallimore on the outside. Pace car pulls in for the final time here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Field is bunched up. We're ready to go racing. Green flag will fly, and away we go. Another good restart by Paul Gallimore. Exactly what he was looking for on that high side. Everybody else side by side. Alex Murray looking to make a move on his teammate down the inside. 3 wide through turn number 1. And Paul Gallimore still out in front, though. Murray has moved up not 1, but looking for 2 spots here. He's looking for 3rd. Kyle Holden, he is going to have to do everything he can now to hold on to 2nd. Paul Gallimore still out in front with a decent gap behind him as we head down the back straightaway into 3 and 4.
Yeah, what a move there by Alex Murray. You saw Brandon Bowie also stuff it 3 wide. He went to the front. He's P5 right now. Alex Murray hard in the outside wall on turn 3 exit. But it's all Paul Gallimore right now. We're coming to the white flag this time by. It's Paul Gallimore in front. Then Kyle Holden and Murray round out the P3 finishing spot right now.
White flag brought to you by League Gaming here as we wrap it up here at the GMD Janitorial 251. Goes for a slide here. That's going to be a great save if he did save it. But we are on the white flag lap. Paul Gallimore, the man, in a big crash here. Oh my, that was a huge crash. Cars flipped over, but we continue racing. Nico Garcia involved. He's on his side. His night is done. This is going to be it, folks, here at the GMD Janitorial 250. Paul Gallimore in what has been a David versus Goliath matchup against Brandon Bowie in the in-season challenge. Brandon Bowie comes off at turn number 4. He's gonna get it done. Paul Gallimore, he is gonna win it here at Indianapolis. What a race.
Adam, what a race. And what a job there. Paul Gallimore getting the win and also getting the win in the Icon Apparel Company in-season challenge. Paul Gallimore, the underdog, the 10 seed coming into this tournament, and was able to string together so many races. You see everyone coming up to congratulate him. The biggest thing here is Paul Gallimore, your race winner. He adds another one to his totals, but also takes care of business in the in-season tournament over Brandon Bowie. So give it to Paul Gallimore, your race winner. Alex Murray, P2. Kyle Holden, P3. Brandon Fetterplace doing a great job, P4. Brandon Bowie, P5, rounding out your top 5. And Adam, we're going to let him burn it down here on the front stretch.
As long as he doesn't burn it down on the bricks. Paul Gallimore, you are a winner here at Indianapolis. Let's burn down the house. And his first win of the season. Paul Gallimore gets it done here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and a big night for him. Now, in the middle of all that chaos headed to the finish here, we had a big wreck. Let's head to the top it off Hot Sauce Company replay, and you will see pandemonium here. And we're in turn 1. There was the slide, and oh my, that could have been worse. And then all carnage breaks loose here. Nico Garcia on his side. You have the 87 as well. Tim Harper involved. I mean, it just seemed like everybody just went all over the place here, went a little bit berserk as we headed towards the finish here, Zach.
Yeah, Greg Carr, you see him go head first into the outside wall after getting caught there on the right rear. Farther in front, though, there's the contact with the 38. He gets shuffled out of the way. Garcia now on board with his view. You see everyone in front. He tries to check up to go to the high side, and unfortunately an innocent bystander is Nico Garcia here in this one on the final lap. And just, this isn't really a skateboard competition, but he did a good job there riding that one out. But for the Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay, wow, that was a crazy finish there, and Paul Gallimore getting the win.
And we will break it all down when we come back here on Precision Entertainment. You have watched the GMD Janitorial 250. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back here to Precision Entertainment as we wrap up what has been a worldie of a race here tonight, and I hope you folks enjoyed it at home. Here's the final race results. Paul Gallimore in a David versus Goliath matchup gets his first win of the season. Alex Murray in a huge recovery drive finishes in second. Kyle Holden gets Hard Charger honors of the night with moving up 21 spots for third. Brandon Fetterplace in fourth. Brandon Bowie will come home with a disappointing fifth place finish. Shane Davis sixth, Alex Coffey in seventh, Sean Rogers in eighth. Ninth will go to Blaine Wilson, and rounding out the top 10 is Corey Moore.
Yeah, just outside the top 10, looking in there was the 11th place finisher of Johnny Shade in the 45, and P12 was Nigel Christensen. A good points day for him. William Owens, P13, Matt Cox in P14. Kenny Reel in the 99 goes P15. In 16th, it's Ryan Catalano there in the 92. Timothy Harper in the 23 machine goes P17. Chris Davis, Blake Hochschild, and Nico Garcia rounding out your top 20.
Outside of the top 20 here tonight, Greg Carr, who is mixed up in that big crash at the end of this one. Mark Sanchez, Barry Sanders in 23rd. Chris Vinson, who had kind of an interesting night, in 24th. 25th goes to Jim Treat here tonight, who did not complete every single lap, along with Nick King, Wayne Bowman, Matt Macklin as well. And that is your finishing order here tonight. And finally, we head to our interviews of the evening, and we will bring in our third place finisher here tonight, Kyle Holden, and he is with Cody Banta.
I'm over here at the pits with the 97 of Kyle Holden, and what a race. What a up and down race. And just speaking about being the biggest mover, you moved 21 spots to go catch a podium. Just tell me how you are feeling right now.
I'm feeling pretty good. We didn't have too good of a qualifying run. We hit the outside wall coming out of both laps that we attempted. So had to start from the back, and I knew I had some speed here, but it's always tricky to get around people. So you want to take your time with it and make sure that you're actually going to make a good pass and not get yourself in a situation where someone behind you may actually end up getting around you. So just trying to take it easy at first. Lay back and just let the runs come to me, and then a little bit of strategy play. I knew I was going to have to pit a little bit early on one of these stints to kind of get up to the top 10, and luckily it kind of worked out for us where a couple of the cars were doing the same strategy, put some of the cars with the newer tires behind us, and kind of really just give us a better opportunity for the finish.
And just looking into Iowa, obviously you have the bye week, but you have a lot of preparation time. Is there anything that you're going to do during that, or are you just going to take a break, or are you just going to continue to log hours and prepare for Iowa?
No, I'm definitely going to put in some laps. I'm not the biggest fan of Iowa, but it is a track we have to race at, so I definitely want to put some laps at least, try to get a decent finish at it, but not my number one track, so probably taking a little bit of a break here as well, but a little bit of time going in.
And just final question I got for you. 36 on your tires. You just talked about staying out, but you only pitted 3 times. So what was sort of like the mindset going into that with the strategy call?
It's really hard to pass. So I figured if Shane took 2 tires and he's even really hard for Paul to pass, then anyone, even on old tires, it's going to be an issue. Sure, you can drive it down deep into the corner to try to get to their inside or their outside, but for the most part, they're going to have the entry. So you're going to have to slow up for them no matter what. And the dirty air is so bad that if you just get right behind them, you have to lift or you're hitting the wall. So I knew that I could take that into my advantage, but I didn't feel like pitting at the end there was the right call with the only one green, white flag checkers at the end if there's another caution. So figured stay out and see what happens, and luckily enough, we got a podium.
You have anyone you want to thank?
Just huge thanks to Simrat Market. Head over there for all your templates. They got some great stuff. All the cars you see that are on track here are all made by me from using those templates. Huge thanks to all the guys showing up for the league. Just not finishing where you want to every week can kind of be rough, but thanks for showing up. Huge thanks to Barry and all the admins for throwing this together, and huge thanks to you guys up in the booth and all the guys behind the scenes doing the broadcast.
Well, great recovery drive. It's been an honor talking to you. See you at Iowa.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Cody. And we'll head over to Zach now, who's with Alex Murray.
Yeah, P2 finisher here tonight for Alex Murray. We saw you getting a little bit of trouble there on lap 1 with Nico Garcia, but you were able to get the recovery drive taken care of. Good pit strategy there at the end of stage 2, and you end up P2 here in the 22 machine. How was the drive?
Car was definitely a winning car all night. Just cards were against us a little bit, but we made the best of it. Led some laps. Think we win if that caution doesn't come out at the end, but nonetheless, the car was great, and can't really ask for much more.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing here, we saw you go to the point and get the race leave with that 3-wide mood going into turn 1. What was the thought process there, and break down the view from the cockpit?
Honestly, it just the run anytime someone gets side by side with another car, kind of stalls their run. So the guy behind gets a massive run, and I knew if I let Bowie get out front, I wasn't gonna be able to do anything with him. Kind of like he wasn't able to do anything with me. Bowie doesn't make mistakes, and I try not to. But if you let Bowie get out front, he's just gonna drive away. So my thought was, take it while it's there and try to keep him behind me.
And obviously you got the off week next week, then you go to Iowa. You got 2 weeks to prep for that. What's the mindset over at Dig Esports going into that one?
I know Nigel and Blaine would love to get a win at their home track, so hopefully we can bring a fast piece and hopefully one of us gets in victory lane. It's kind of drought right now. We haven't really had any wins here lately, so it'd be nice to get back in victory lane with one of the cars.
Well, you talk about the P2 finish here tonight. Who do you want to thank?
Precision Setups.gg, Precision Entertainment, Shamrock Auto Care, PayRVA, Dig. Shout out to my cousin Aiden who's watching. He got diagnosed with cancer. About a month ago now, and been trying to get hashtag Aiden Strong on the car and bring some awareness to bone cancer. So good news is he's doing well, and hope he continues. So yeah, looking forward to Iowa. I think we're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, well, Aiden's going to battle just like you did here tonight at Indy. P2 finish here for Alex Murray, and we appreciate you taking the time with us here in the booth.
Yep, thank you, Zach.
Thank you to Alex Murray. We're going to send it over to Victory Designs Victory Lane here. Adam is standing with Paul Gallimore down in Victory Lane. Adam, take it away.
Well, thank you very much. And standing here now with Paul Gallimore. Paul, an unbelievable race for you here tonight. You get the win, and you're standing here in Victory Designs Victory Lane.
Man, what a race, man. That thing had ups, downs, twists, turns, everything for myself anyway. I mean, first off, the in-season challenge buoy was lights out. I had nothing for him, but that last, that pit stop, and staying out, well, it got me this thing, and it's like sometimes you just got to do what they don't, in order to just give yourself a fight chance, man. So tickled to death to get a win first off in this league. As tough as it is, it's just I'm just happy to come away with a dub. My first one in here in 2 years, so pretty tickled about that.
Well, and of course you mentioned the Icon Apparel in-season challenge. You are the champion. As Cody Banta, our pit reporter, described, it was a David versus Goliath matchup. And you were David tonight, and you got it done. Just talk about just the ebbs and flows of going through this in-season race challenge here and being crowned the champion of that.
Well, coming through that thing, we faced a lot of guys that were certainly worthy of being in the same spot I am. None of it was a given, and I had to work my butt off. I just happened to hit a streak at the right time. It's like coming up into this thing. I was probably not. I probably wasn't. I was kind of on the border, like say eighth place guy. Now we started running some top fives and clicking them off, and then end it with a dub. It was kind of like it was meant to be, man. It's so surreal. It's so cool to just be able to come here at Indy, kiss the bricks and put it on a good show for everybody, and little excitement there at the end.
Well, you climbed the mountain. Talk about the pit strategy here tonight that got you into the race lead.
Well, that was solely because really that was my only play. That was my only play to have a chance at this thing. Luckily, fortunate enough that, I think about 6, 7, 8 of them probably stayed out there. I think maybe 6, but had enough people stay out to where the guys on tires had to work a little harder. And I was able to get some great restarts there. And when, getting the great restarts and everything, getting a little half second or so gap, just to kind of give me some room to breathe, that somebody wasn't tucked up my ass and give me air grief or something. So it was just, that was the call. I mean, that was the only call I had at that time. Cause heck, I took 2 tires way earlier, and if I had a pit with them, I'd have just been in the middle of them. So why not try something different?
Well, it surely worked. You're a in-season challenge champion. You're also now a race winner this season. It's got to feel real good to not only walk away with 1 piece of hardware, but walk away with 2.
Oh, it's awesome. Yes. Like I said, when I come into this tonight, it was a David versus Goliath thing. I told Sean and Rogers and him and Chad, I was like, when we, after that lap buoy set in qual, I was like, well, my first stone missed. So I kept throwing stones. Everyone missed. The last one hit, and that was the one that I needed. So worked out great.
Well, anybody you would like to thank for such a big night for you tonight?
Oh, absolutely. First off, congratulate Bowie on a great season and great tournament for him to get there. And I kind of got a good call there, and fortunate it worked out my way. He was certainly worthy of winning this thing. But as far as everybody else, I mean, my boys over at BMP, Cox and Rogers, Shane Davis, they all helped me practice. I didn't get a chance to really run any up until Sunday at this place because I was in the middle of moving and working on the new place. But I didn't get to turn a lap till Sunday. So we used some on Monday and Tuesday, and then here we are for your lane. But anyway, those guys at BMP are great. Icon Apparel, they've been sponsoring us for the longest time. Scott over there, he's a great dude to work with. Puts out some quality products, quality apparel, custom apparel and stuff. So give him a look if you want some custom shirts and whatnot done, hats and all that. So of course, want to thank. I think RS Button Boxes was part of the sponsor of this in-season tournament. So I'd like to thank them. You guys for a great broadcast that you put on. You are always top notch. Barry for putting on the league, and just GMD Janitorial and Chris and them for hosting the league or sponsoring the league and all that. So just want to give them a shout out and thank everyone for paying attention, watching, and I hope everybody enjoyed the race.
Well, congratulations, Paul. You're a race winner and the Icon Apparel's in-season challenge champion.
Right on. Let's go crack open a cold one now, boys.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, Paul Gallimore gets the big win here. We got a chance to talk with him here in Victory Lane, sponsored by Victory Designs. Zach, what a race night we had here tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, Adam. It was a great night here in Indianapolis, and we're going to set our sights now with an off week. Let everyone get a break there next Wednesday, and then the next race, go to Iowa Speedway, out for a little different style of a racetrack on Wednesday, August 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Precision Entertainment on YouTube. And Adam, that's going to be a fun one, right? A little difference of a track. The next-gen cars have a fun time getting around that shorter track distance, so I'm very excited to see what everyone does next in 2 weeks from now at Iowa.
Well, thank you very much for everybody watching here tonight. It's been a great night of racing. I want to thank Zach and Cody Banta for their hard effort tonight, and for JP, the man behind the cameras, for his hard effort to bring you all this race here tonight. And thank you, all of you, for allowing me to be in the chair here tonight. You've been watching the Moonshiners Racing League here on Precision Entertainment, sponsored by GMD Janitorial Services. Well, folks, my name is Adam Thompson. For all of us here at Precision and the Moonshiners Racing League, we will say good night, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time from Iowa.